Hi there, it's Mare from over at Lilac Pages on Etsy. Thanks for watching. I have a journal share for a custom order. Before I forget, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified of any new videos that I may post. I have a journal share of a custom order. This is customer specific. It's more of an art journal, not a writing journal. These are journals just for little areas to tuck notes or little stories or write things and have little pockets to put them in. She gave me complete freedom, but there are certain colors and elements and quotes that are customer specific. It is a very large journal. As you can see, it's 10.5 roughly by 7.25. And as soon as I took on her request, I thought of this book cover. I thought I had the complete book, but I didn't. I know years ago I purchased a bunch of book covers, but this was just so perfect for what she wanted. It's a very chunky book, like many of my journals. It is supported on this, in the spine here, and it's just a closure with a piece of very fairy-like ribbon. And there's little crystals there that I put at a dangle, and it just unclips like this. It opens like this. I won't go through all the techniques that I used in creating this journal. I did use some artwork from people, and I will definitely link anything that I used from other people, either from Etsy or otherwise. I will put a link in the description box along with my Etsy shop link as well. I left a lot of strings hanging, and I just liked the texture of it. Obviously, Gwen, if you're watching, you can clip those if it's not something that you like. This is just an area for a photo. Just made a pocket here and little, I think, just strokes the imagination of this this tree here. It's got lots of texture on it. Little quote here in this kite, heart kite. A little card here, another dangle. I gesso here and here for writing areas. She wasn't going to be using this to really write in, but I thought a few little areas might be nice. Just did some decoupage on some paper here, vellum envelope with some cards here from Mrs. Coggs, and that is a wax seal stamp with some fairy wings. Made this tree out of some book page and some different coloring and with pastels. This is gessoed as well. Some stamping here and here. That little fawn. Here's just a 2-page spread that I did. Little shaker flip over area to write. That is all gesso on there. And some different pieces of jewelry. Here's a pin, Tim Holtz pin. I used, let's see, Sun and Moon, Scrabble and Glass Glaze, Diamond Glaze, and glossy accents. I use all 3 of those, just what I have within reach. These fairy wings, you can print them on all different kinds of materials, either printable acetate, vellum. I believe for this set, I used vellum. They come pre-colored, but I did add my own, and I also added stickles and different things to the end of the wings to give it texture. These are from, I believe it's let me look at my sheet, ATP Textures on Etsy. It's all things precious, and she has some really pretty fairy wings and different things on her site. I used different illustrators, different pictures from different illustrators. Again, I'll have it all linked in the description box. Some glossy accents here, black gesso here from these raindrops. The Trouble with Trolls, I did a lot of sewing here. This is just has a little fold out of fairy pictures and another little tag, a little troll tag. Terry would fold out, full sheet of paper there. Just put something behind it to help you write, and you could probably put something in there or just tuck a little note or quote or something in that. This is an envelope here that I've decorated on the outside with some wonderful troll images there. Made a little pocket. I got this poem from a vintage book. I just thought it was super cute, and I believe that it has to do with some things that Gwen and I had talked about. Little tag that I backed with some coffee stained paper, some decoupage work. This is actual from a canvas that I deconstructed. It's something that I was working on, and I thought it suited this journal very well. And just made this little spool here, decorated with wire around it, a little dangle here. And this is the in-between pages. Let's see if I can get this. This is all clay, and this this fairy or druid came out of the tree, and she's blowing air at this tree, which is bending over with the leaves. And let me see here. Got a little hedgehog there, a little glass globe, a little fairy door. And here I have little fairies that are clinging on. They could fly away if they wanted, but this was their home and they often have fun. Now, Gwen, you could untwist, I'm not going to do it, but untwist the fairy, and you can put them at any other place in the journal as you see fit, but I wouldn't recommend children playing with them or anything like that, although the legs and arms do twist. Too much play might, dislocate the wings or otherwise, but I made these. There's that one and that one. Aren't they cute? And the strangest thing was I had this canvas in here that after I created that, and I created the fairies last, but then I saw this image, this illustration in some of the illustrated artwork that I purchased. And if you can see here, which I thought was the neatest thing, you could see this druid or whatever you want to call it, tree nymph coming out of the tree. And I thought, wow, that just goes so good with this story that I created when I first made this. So I just thought that was neat. Anyway, this is an image that I drew and colored, and it's all backed on canvas, different pastels, different crayons, distress crayons, and a forest scene as well. And I put this pendant here with two fairy images on one on each side. Made a pocket here and little tag grouping here. And this image opens up for an area to write something, little keepsake area. And this is a tuck where you could put, just grab something, even something larger, a story or such behind it. I did some stamping and some coloring of leaves and flowers on some vintage music sheet. So that just goes in there. Another, let me see, is that a tuck? Some of it's not, and some, oh yeah, that's right. This is just decoration, but what beautiful artwork that is. Ugh, to be able to draw and write like that would be wonderful. Okay, I'm learning. And this is a tuck up here. You can tuck things here, and a side pocket here that I just made this little tag with a leaf on the back. And you could stick a little note, a little quote on there. Another tuck area, and I did some stamping here and used some mica sprays. Little tuck there, area for writing here, a fabric flip up. Let me make sure I'm fully in frame. It's very heavy. Gessoed the vintage book page, so you could actually write on that if you wanted to. Made just a little side tuck with a tag. Colored these pencils here and just did some stamping. Here is a vintage German slide. It's actual glass in there that I put boy fairies, one on each side, which I thought was very neat, and made this envelope here from a craft glassine bag and some embossing of some handmade green paper. So there is an area here to put a letter or a little story in it. And I did, this is a digital that I put on acetate and cut out and made that. And I used another set of those fairy wings, and I did a lot of coloring and glitter. And these are a little stiffer. I believe they're on acetate. I may have laminated them as well. I'm not quite sure. Just did some stenciling here and inking. Made some bubbles and made all of this little metallic smoke coming out. Another one of those bottles that have the little fairies in it. Just did some stamping and some embossing here. It's a little pocket that you could put things in. Open that up. Some more artwork up here. Area for writing here. A little pocket here. I added my own trees here and that, and some my own trees here. These are stamps that I have colored and did some different stickles on it. This is another side tuck here to put things on. This is some rice paper, vintage music paper, some coffee dyed parchment, and just some different collaging of papers and a few different stickers. And I made that little tuck here, the little Mrs. Coggs quote from James Barrie. And this is a pop-up. Now the concept that I altered a little bit and made my own was from Lori Marie Jenkins, I believe. She's got a pop-up and a little demonstration. So I used some of that, just did these a little bit different, but I want to give credit to her. And these, Gwen, can actually be, I made these pockets, so you could put little notes in there if you wanted to. I also did, this is from a vintage doll book, and I did glossy accents on her eyes on both sides, and I added the butterfly, and I just loved her image, and I added the stickles going up to match this here, which I added some sparkle to it. Here's a side pocket. I did laminate on one side these little images here, backed it with parchment paper, and since it's not laminated, you could write on those, but they will last you a long time. Made a pocket out of this artwork, and I added just a vintage postcard here that I thought was really colorful and pretty that matched it. Little heart crystal dangle there. Just some stamping here. A flip down with some artwork. And this is a tuck here, so you could put something there, but it's also gessoed, so you could write if you wanted to. Just some artwork there. Made this little tag. The tags are actual butterfly tags. I just did use some Distress Oxides on this and some stickles. The Lord of Sea and Sky. I created this with Lindy's Magicals, and this is a tuck up here that you could tuck a little something in there, and made just this river and ocean scene, night sky scene. Again, some Magicals and some mica sprays, and I think that was it. Black gesso. Side tuck here, but also a little pocket in here that you could put a little note or a little something in there. Did some collaging back here and some stamping, and just made this little card here. Great place to write something down. Made a pocket, did some stamping. This is a book page, just a booklet. Just regular pieces of coffee dyed paper and stuff for extra writing space. And that just fits in there. I made these, I believe, might be Lindy's again, and some distress crayons. Also this eagle here, if you wanted a word or a quote to fold up and tuck in there, there is an opening. He will raise you up on eagle's wings. Again, customer specific. And I put a little tree charm there, and it flips open, and there's an area here for a special quote or word or anything you want to add. I did this with distress crayons I used, and collaging, and this is from a vintage book page. And it's a cottage on a river with the swing in the wind. Coffee dyed paper, more artwork. This has a larger area here. I used some bubble stenciling with some glimmery type medium there. And here is a pocket I made up here of a little, and I put a little fairy matchbook with just little handmade textured paper. And that just tucks in there. Lots of strings and a little unicorn. That is a digital that I received, that I purchased. And I just accentuated things with stickles. This in the background is from some jelly printing that I did. And some yarn here, gessoed pages. Gesso here, some more jelly printing here. Areas for writing or for photographs. And here is a quote, I who made the stars of night, I will make their darkness bright. And I used different gesso and different crayons and some distress crayons and some gelatos. And there's a rainbow bottle here. And these wings are very, very glossy. And I just put them on a clip and put a brad on there so they just hold on to the end. And I like the way that they turned out. And I even liked how they curled up. Makes it look more natural. Some galaxy scenes. I made my own glitter texture paste that had a lot of mica in it and a lot of different, and mica flakes, mica powders. And then all of these dangles are different galaxy scenes. I did purchase those online. And then I just glossed them. I think I used just Thick and Glossy, I think it's called. But anyway, they look so pretty on here. And I made this tag with some Distress Oxide sprays. And I put some sparkles on there for the stars. Area in the back for writing. Made the moon. And there's a sunset. Some blank pages, some ink, just ink on here and some jelly printing here, some more artwork here, which I thought was super cute. And that just flips open that way. And this is a side pocket from a collage board that I did. Collaging, and I used some purple paints and did some gesso up here, a little fairy charm here. And here I have another unicorn image. This is some handmade paper with some Distress Oxides on it to make that. Jelly printing in the back. And that flips up, and you can put, you know, a piece of paper here with your favorite story or a picture. And this is a pocket here. And this is a side pocket, some more artwork here. And then I just made this card again out of some Distress Oxide sprays. I just love using those. And I just thought that turned out super pretty. And I strengthened the back. Oh, that has another charm that I took some different, some stickles and glossy accents. And I don't know if you can see that very well, but the moon and the fairy's wings all have color on them and sparkle. And I backed this and strengthened it to hold this. And then put some handmade paper on it. And I thought that would be nice to either write on or put a photo on. And I included a piece of that, some other handmade paper. And ended it with that. And this has an Up, a charm, a big pendant from the movie Up, or representing the movie Up. And it just has a magnet enclosure, but you can remove that. And that is it. Okay, guys, on to my next journals. And thanks for watching, and have a great day.